I think I did this right. Hi, Crystal. How are you?
Good morning, Jevon. How are you today?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for asking. And good morning to everybody that's joining us. Sorry that looking a little funky. I always look a little strange when I'm doing this, but Crystal always looks great. I haven't figured that out yet. Something's going on here.
I think I
Uh,
just figured it out, and I'll tell you when we're no
oh,
longer
okay.
live.
All right, fine. So today's conversation on the patio is about financial wellness for entrepreneurs. And so we just want to give you a brief rundown. This is Conversations on the Patio with Crystal Mitchell and Jevon Thomas. We started this because we understood that there are lots of people that get advice from folks on their patio. It's a much more relaxed place to be. And sometimes that advice isn't very good. The people are well-meaning, but because of holes in their knowledge, and let's face it, we all have that, they don't always give the best advice about money, retirement, and whatever else Crystal wants to talk about. So, Crystal, let me introduce you, and then you can say a few words, and then we'll get started. How's that sound?
All right, sounds excellent.
Okay, so again, welcome for joining me on the show. I'm just going to read your bio. We are talking to Crystal Mitchell. She is a business coach and consultant, CEO of Mitchell Business Solutions, co-director of Recycling Black Dollars, instructor at Mount San Antonio Community College. She's the co-host of The Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. It's a weekly online radio show. I'd encourage all of you to take a look at that. The next thing is she's a certified network for teaching entrepreneurship instructor and a QuickBooks Pro Advisor financial strategist. Welcome, Crystal Mitchell. How are you?
I am wonderful today. Rested, well, kind of rested from my last week. I'm still working on it, but I only have another 7 days to get rested again because I got another youth program starting July 6th.
Oh,
So
wow.
I know I got to be ready. So, but other than that, I'm good. Had a
Is it
great
the
weekend.
great? Is it the same kind of show?
Same kind of kid, but it's you young people that we're teaching to be entrepreneurs. So I just finished startup summer, and that was 17 kids. That I was only supposed to be there for the first leg, and so they're still going on for another 6 weeks. But my
Okay.
kids now, my program starts on July 6th, and it's called Biz Camp. So we actually teach young people how, ages 13 to 18 how to be entrepreneurs and how to actually start a business. And then our goal for them is to actually get that business launched.
Oh, that is awesome. And you've got some incentives along the way, and you were telling me about that's just a great program. Awesome, awesome.
Yeah, so the kids are, and it's just so Javon. When I talk, I teach adults how to be how to be business owners as well. But the kids embrace it. The kids they get so creative, and
Oh,
as
wow.
you drop little nuggets of information, they just absorb it and process it and implement it. So unlike my adults. They
Hmm.
absorb, but they don't get implemented. And so it's really such a pleasure and a joy to work with them. So it's our future, right? We got
Oh,
to
yes.
have
Oh, yeah.
more entrepreneurs. That's what makes the business world work.
There you go. There you go. That's I couldn't have
Mm-hmm.
said it better than that. Well, what do you think of this
Mm-hmm.
topic that we've got here? Wellness for or financial wellness for entrepreneurs. Isn't that interesting?
I think that's an excellent topic. Some of the things that we noticed or recognized during last year, during COVID, during the 2020, and actually the last 18 months was, you know, the way our businesses are structured. A lot of our businesses are structured. Their personal life and their business life is commingled, and so because they're entrepreneurs, they don't necessarily think about retirement and what that really means to them on the backside, right? So
Hmm.
I guess they think they're going to run their businesses forever until the day they stop breathing, which is
Hmm.
cool. But you don't want to have to run your businesses like you are just started yesterday. You've been in business
Right.
for 30 years.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. I
So,
gathered, yeah, that you're absolutely right, spot on. I gathered this information over a few articles and a few the conversations that I've had with folks, and I think it's pretty timely. The I put together about 5 of these points, and most of them are in the article that I sent you. So I thought it'd be good to go ahead and bring them out. Of course, I'm a retirement plan advisor, so I do look at things from that point of view. So
mhm.
that's how we're going to talk about this one.
Okay,
Did you
sounds
have
good.
any? Great. Did you have any questions or anything
I
before we
know
get started?
as we get moving forward, I'll make my comments and interjections, and let's have some fun.
All righty, sounds good. Fun with financial wellness. All right, we'll see how we can do that.
If we want to, we're gonna be around for a while. So what is the expected life expectancy? 80, 90 years old. So you're gonna be
Yeah.
working a great deal of the time, but afterwards you want to be able to relax, right, and go
Yes.
have fun and
Yes.
smoke cigars and
Yeah.
travel and
Yes.
things like that. But
Yeah.
you gotta have the mola.
Oh,
You gotta have
yeah.
the money to make that
Yeah.
happen. So it's
Very
going to
true.
be fun.
I hear you. Okay. So the first thing on our list, and I think it's prudent for just about every situation, and I tell people this all the time, is you got to have a budget. And, for your business, you really have to have a budget. And most people suggest that you have that quarterly, monthly, yearly budget, even in order to make things make sense. And I just think that's a great idea for a retirement plan as well, because so many people ask me, all right, so where am I going to put the money? What do I do with it? I don't have the money. And when we find out that they actually do have the money, they're just spending it on things that they don't necessarily need. And I don't know if you know this or not, but I used to do budget education for folks for a quasi government organization way back in the day. And what we found was this was before the
Oh,
internet was, yeah, before the internet was very popular. People would get magazine subscriptions, and they'd have tons of magazines that would come to their home, and they wouldn't even look at them. The magazine subscription would cost them, I don't know, $10 or $12 a year. But after,
mm-hmm.
you know, 8 or 9 or maybe 10 or 12 magazines, that adds up. And so we'd say things like, have you considered taking an hour and going to the library and reading the magazine there? And then taking that $20 to $30 that you have and putting that in a jar on your desk, or putting it into a savings account or something like that, and then adding that to the plan to your retirement savings on a monthly basis. And so we'd run into those situations where folks don't think they have the money, when in actuality we waste so much money. Many of us do. I'm not going to say everybody's in that situation, because some folks are spending everything they got and they're finding out that they have way more month than they have paycheck at the end of the month. But there's some of us that can actually, without tightening our belt, just use our money appropriately. And getting a budget really helps when you know where it's coming from and where it's going.
I have a funny story. So yesterday I was with some friends. One of my friends, I think I mentioned to you, she's in the retirement fringe benefit environment in insurance. And so she has something she calls the latte experience. And
The
so
what now?
basically, the latte, like the
Latte
latte,
experience?
yeah.
Okay.
So, well, and the latte is basically, what are you spending your money on that you actually could cut back on, just like you talked about, right? And
Mhm.
so she was asking one of my other friends, and she goes, okay, so you want to buy a home. And so, and talking about retirement, just her focus is the 6 month to a year emergency fund and how important that is. That's her
Yes.
real. That's her challenge. That's her real thing right now. So my girlfriend is kind of an unfrill. She's a unfrilled kind of woman. So she was saying, I don't have a latte problem. And she goes, what do you mean? She goes, well, maybe it's, she goes, I don't drink coffee. She goes, no, well, maybe it's not coffee. Maybe it's your nails. She goes, nope, don't do that. She goes, maybe it's your hair. Nope, don't do that. She says, maybe it's makeup or maybe it's massages. She just kept going down the line, going out to dinner and that kind of stuff. She goes, no, I don't think those are my problem. I think my problem is I need to make more money. That's the reason she didn't have those moments. She didn't have the money to do it. She goes, I think I just need to make more money so I can get to a latte problem.
We're trying to get to the problem. I hear you. I hear you. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. A lot of us are in that boat. We want to have the problem. Right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I could spend this money on a latte or save it for going to Paris. No, that's not us. We need to make some more money.
I need to make some more money so I can have those extras because right now everything's going to rent and living expenses. And so she said, I basically just need to go make some more money so I can have those frills.
Indeed. Cool. Okay, so that's number one, is have a budget, and I'm sure you can agree every business ought to do that. But I like a couple of the other points they make, and one of them is to know if you're making money or losing money. Because, like you said before, so many of us, we combine our incomes and it becomes personal. But how do you know your business is going to pay off if you don't know actually if you're making money or losing money? And I like one of the things that some of my friends say, and that is get a benchmark. Even if you don't make it, get a benchmark. How much are you going to have at the end of the year? How much are you going to have at 5 years? And even if you don't make it, at least you have a goal, and that's so important. So find a way to know if you're making money on a monthly basis, quarterly basis. And lots of times I'll ask my colleagues, so how'd you do? And they'll say, well, we made more money than we did last year, so we're good. And that's good. You need to know,
I think, I help companies with their bookkeeping and I teach them how to do it. And then I teach them how to read the financial reports. But in addition to that, that forensic specialty that I do is really being able to analyze the data from and doing a cash flow sheet every month. And that cash flow is to show you, what each month, how you're doing business wise, whether it's a low month or it's a peak month. But just like, the stock market, right? They know the ups and the downs. And so each one of those points determines on how you're going to invest in the stock market. Well, the same thing with your business. If you have some peaks, then that excess money that you have there, your profit, then you can start allocating that. And as they say in the church world, 10% off the top, go to your savings, and then you're paying yourself, you're paying your 10%, and then reinvesting in your business. So that does you right. And the benchmarkers are that budget. How much money do I want to make this year, and then work backwards. What do I need to do to get to that? And then to make sure that you're on point as far as your expenses. So I talk to clients that all the time. It's like, so same thing, like you just said, how much money are you making this month? Don't know. Really? Yeah. It's very, very important to understand the flow of your business. And as another friend of mine says, because in the event that you have to have some other streams of revenue, and so she says for every financial obligation she has, she has a stream of revenue that's allocated to that particular. Yeah. So she got about 7. She's probably got about 12 revenue streams, but she makes. Yeah, I know she's focused on that too. My friends like to make money.
She's got 12. Does that mean she has 12 businesses?
She has 12 different ways she can make money out of the 3 businesses that she has.
Okay. Well, that's just good thinking.
Yeah, she has 3 businesses. Okay. Yeah, but she has 12 different revenue streams that generate from the combination of the 3 businesses. Wow. So I'm striving to be like her. She's my mentor. Hello. And so making sure but I love the concept. have for every major expense you have a revenue stream that addresses that. And so one of those streams, Jevon, is your one of those obligations is your retirement plan, right? So
Yes,
have
ma'am.
a revenue stream that absolutely just drops the money into the retirement plan.
That's a very good idea, and it
What you
doesn't have
think
to be.
about that?
I think it's an awesome idea, and you don't have to. You don't have to put. It doesn't have to be a huge amount. You can start slow, and as it grows, puts a little more in there and put some more in there. We don't have to build the building today. We can take a little bit of time. And I'm glad you mentioned your
Mm-hmm.
mentor. I think that's a great thing to have, because that's the next point we want to talk about is get a team. Get a team around you to help you run your business. And often that includes your CPA/bookkeeper, also maybe an attorney,
Mm-hmm.
also
Mm-hmm.
maybe just a business mentor, maybe someone who's done it before, or has some good expertise that you can use. And, surround yourself with those people so that you can find out what it is that you need to do. Often I talk to people who say, okay, I want to do
Mm-hmm.
this. I want to add this other company to mine, or I want to hire these employees. I want to build a plant in Dubai. Okay, what's your cash flow look like? Well, I don't know. Well, should we talk with your CPA? CPA. Well, yeah. How are you going to make this happen? Right? You need to do it. So, having that team around you is such a good thing, I think. And then,
And I think to that, I think also your banker should be part. Your bank, you should have a relation. You must have a relationship with your bank because they can also help you reach those goals if they know that you even have those goals. So part of that team should be making sure you have a good relationship with your bank.
that's so true, and I think different businesses, different strokes, different people are going to have different members on their team. But this, for the most part, this is a team effort
Mm-hmm.
when you have a business, and just recognize that, yes, it's great to be a self-made man or a self-made woman, but you don't do it alone, right? Nobody does it alone. You have to have help. You have
Mm-mm.
to have
Mm-mm.
other people put into the
Mm-hmm.
into that situation so that you can grow. So, okay, the next one we want to talk about is goals, and we sort
Yes,
of,
we need help.
I think we have a little bit of a delay here.
I think so. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Huh.
we do.
uh, Wonderful technology. So, uh, we have benchmarking for your businesses. Where do you want to be? And getting educated, those kinds of things. I think benchmarking is important. And I'm kind of rushing to this because one of my favorite ones is coming up, and that's, of course, um, have a plan for retirement. And I think that's so important because so many people I know, they want to start a business, they go running off to do that, and they don't get an exit strategy. And I know in school we always talked about exit strategies, and I'll tell you why that's such a big deal for me. Back in 2008, I knew a lot of folks who wanted 2008, 2009. They wanted to sell their business. They were tired of working, they wanted to get out of it, and the market had tanked. So if they'd sold their business 3 years before, they would have gotten a huge amount for it. But because
Mm.
they didn't do that, they wanted to sell it right then because they were just tired and it was a tough time for everybody. So they sold it, and they sold it at such a cut rate deal that it wasn't really what they wanted. They really didn't get the money that they needed. And so they had to do something else. But at least they didn't have to do that business. Why go through that? And I'll tell you right now, a retirement plan is a great way to not have to deal with that. Even if it's an ESOP, you can still leave your name on the door. You can still get revenue from that business. If not, some type of succession plan where you have maybe a pension plan or some type of cash balance plan, you can set that up so that you don't have to sell it right now, right? You don't have to take what somebody's given you. You can set up a plan so that when you decide that you're going to sell, maybe you've got 2 or 3 years so that you can wait because you've got some qualified money out there that's going to be able to sustain you till you want to sell your business for the price that you want for it, right? Instead of having to take what the market's going to give you in a bad time. Because businesses aren't always necessarily liquid. Right?
Yes.
Sometimes you have,
Majority of the time they're not liquid. They're, they're on paper, but the expenses are the monies are allocated for big expenses, payroll, production runs, things like that.
yeah.
And so they really have to think it. So I'm gonna back up a little bit because I think this leads into the planning for your retirement. Is that one where it says make suggested that making your finances a priority. And I've been in the finance accounting part of this business, financial business, for a long time, and everyone is excited about making money, but the components that go into making money and keeping the money, the excitement is not exactly the same, right? Because the things that are supposed to be in place, you understanding what's happening in the marketplace, understanding money in itself. So that's the financial literacy part of it, right?
Mhm.
Really understanding that your money is supposed to work for you, not for you to work for it.
Right.
And making so, like when you were talking about selling a business and having that succession plan, that's never ever ever part of the equation with any of the clients. And I've had hundreds and probably thousands of clients over the last 30 years, and that is never one of the conversations that you have because I'm usually, when I sit down with a new client, I'll go, so tell me, what are your goals and what are your 2-year, 5-year, and 10-year, and eventually your 20-year plans for your business? And they're like, huh? Well, you kind of have to have some goals and some plans. How do you see what do you see the business looking like? And what do you see once you retire? Retire because they're so in the rut of making the money.
Yeah.
And in this game that I play called Cash Flow, it's a Robert Kiyosaki. It came out a long time ago, and he calls it the rat race. So they're so entrenched in the rat race of running around the wheel to make money, they don't think about what happens when you get out of the rat race and into the cash flow of life, and how do you get there. So I think that's a real important thing, understanding money. We're in the financial business, so we understand money, but we don't just understand it because we just happen to be very smart people, right? We understand money because we do the research and we
Right.
read and we
Right.
stay on top of the trends and what's happening in the industry, and how money really works. But the average individual doesn't do that.
I think you're absolutely right. When we talk about getting yourself and keeping yourself educated about your business and about the way that you're affected by money, I think it's very important. Sticking your head in the ground and just saying, oh, I'm going to make yellow pinwheels for the rest of my life is not a strategy for being viable, or let's face it, for help meeting your retirement needs and your dreams. And also, a lot of people say they're going to work till they die. I don't know if they necessarily have to do that if they, number one, have a budget, number two, know if they're making or losing money, number three, set those benchmarks and goals. If they have an idea, like you were saying, uh, are they making or losing money, and make a
Mm-hmm.
plan to get to where they need to go. You may not have to do that. And even if you do want to work forever, at least you'll be in a good place.
Exactly. And I always tell my clients, or even my adults that are looking to go into business or nonprofits or whatever it is their goals are, I always say to them, and so how much do you think you can make in this industry? And so that which lets me know whether they even know what the capacity is in the industry that they're going in, right? And then
Right.
secondly is if you're only going, and I'm talking gross, I'm not even talking net. If your gross is going to be somewhere in the 50, 60,000, 70, 60,000 area, then you can work and make more money using your expertise working for somebody else, right?
Yes.
Because if you are running ragged for $60,000 or
Yeah.
$50,000, which is
Yeah.
a lot of times where they are, and why do that? So you really need to know the full capacity, and then how do you scale up to that full capacity? Because that's why you got to work till you die, because you're only making $50,000 a year in your business, and that's
Yeah.
gross. That's before experiences, expenses. So you have to be realistic about that, and they don't like to hear that, but that's a reality. So
It is. We've gone away from the time period where your business defined who you were and you do what your dad did and your granddad. That just doesn't necessarily work anymore. And we think
mm-mm,
about what a modern business is. So many times it's intellectual capital. So you think you can sell some of your things off, but people don't want your old computers. They're not worth anything. The business is actually you, what you
mm-hmm,
bring to the table, and
mm-hmm.
that part is very tough to sell. So it's really good to take a look at, all right, where are you going to be? I love your idea. Where are you going to be in 2 years? Where do you want to be in 5 years, 10 years? Even if you don't make it, the point
Right.
is to have a direction and a plan so that
Mm-hmm.
you can be ready to make it. Most
Mm-hmm.
businesses fail within the first 5 years or so.
First 5 years, 85%. The percentage is 85% of first time businesses don't make it past the second year,
Yeah,
and it
so
only
that's
goes down about 5 to 10% as it trails down. So by the
mm,
time it gets down to 7, 8 years, now you have the potential of being staying in business. But those first years, and then that also depends on the industry. If you're in the industry like construction or um, the restaurant industry, that's a tough industry,
oh
right?
yeah, yeah.
So it's high risk. These are high risk businesses, and so you got to really plan that. That can't be something that's not willy nilly concept. You gotta, if you're gonna invest money in it, you gotta make sure it's planned. So I think um, making sure that your finances are a priority, but not just the finances for the business. Here's the other thing, and I'm sure you've gone and when you're selling retirement plans and you talk to an entrepreneur who's been in business and you say, "So what's your salary?" And they look at you like, "Huh? Yeah, how much did you pay you?" and they're under the assumption that if they're looking for a loan, bank loan, or they're looking for investors to invest in their business, they think that they don't want to show salary there. They know you're not doing this for free, so
Right.
they want to see some salary there, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's so true. And I do run into that often when people say, okay, I want to put some away money in my retirement plan, or I want to start a retirement plan, and I've got 12 employees. We've finally gotten to the point where we can start out our 401k plan, and they don't realize that contributions to your 401k plan are W-2 contributions. And we can figure some things out if you have a K1, we can figure some things out. But you got to have one or two of those, right? And hopefully both of those. And then we have to bring your tax person into the room, because then we have to say, all right, how much can you actually put away? Because the goal has been to reduce your income so that you don't have to pay taxes on it. Nobody wants to pay taxes. Well, part of that money that you're not paying in taxes is the money that you're supposed to be contributing to your retirement plan. And we reach it's an interest. We always work it out. It's
Right.
not one of those things that's impossible to do. But it always strikes me as, oh, yes, I do want some income because
but
I
I
can't
don't want Uncle Sam
understand
to
what
know
I'm.
I made income,
Yeah,
right? That's the problem, right? You're juggling like, okay, I go to the tax man and say, I don't want to pay taxes. He goes, oh, okay. So he just writes off everything as opposed to going to the tax man saying, hey, these are my plans for the next 5 years. So what can we do to reduce my tax liability, but at the same time show that I have actually made a profit? So that's never the conversation. The conversation is, all right, I'm coming to the tax man. You got me $20,000 last year back. That's what I want this year. Wait a minute. So you have to know what you want to do and what you're planning, your future plans are, because that's how your taxes should be processed, not based upon I don't want to pay any more taxes than I have to. You
yeah,
want to pay taxes to show that you have the capability to set aside for your retirement plan, if you need a loan or a line of credit to show the banker that you can pay them back, or show the investor that you are making money in this business.
right, right. And people know. You can't go. I worked with a buddy of mine that was a loan officer for a bank, and he went to a store and asked them for their books because the store wanted to, they wanted a loan so that they could build on to their store. And my friend went there and he says, so um, let's see your books. And of course, the gentleman said, what do you want those books to say? And my friend said, I don't want them to say anything except what they're supposed to say, but I can't give you a loan if you can't tell me what your income is and you show me your cash flow and what your EBITDA is. I have to have some information. Well, what kind of information do you need? And my friend said, I need to know the truth. I don't need any made up books, right? So,
Some books that they pulled out here books. Here's some
yeah,
books.
we have books. Yeah, what kind of books you want? And so, and it always strikes me as odd. We talk about business people that are trying to make it, and we are. We're self-employed people. We're trying to get things going, and you get yourself in those situations where, things aren't as they weren't the way that maybe you planned. All
Right,
that being
exactly.
said, is having a business, planning for the business, and as you just brought up, planning for your retirement, planning for that exit strategy. You have to do that because you never know when you're going to get tired of it. You never know when you're going to get tired of the business. You never know when you're going to want to sell or when you're going to be forced to sell. And then all of a sudden find out you have no recourse but to sell, and you have to sell at a price that you don't want to sell at,
That
which
you don't
is
want to sell at. But I always
is
it's just like, and the succession piece, as I said earlier, you know, it's more than just your equipment, because that really has no value if they've been depreciating it and you've been in business for a long period of time. It's really about, you know, the products that you're selling and your intellectual properties, and what's the value in the of the business itself. What, you know, the clients are, if you got good relationships and they're what has been sustaining the business. Those are the assets that you have in your business, not your desk that you probably got secondhand when you bought it.
this is an amazing desk. This desk is incredible. If you
Right.
could see the times we've had on this desk. Oh my goodness.
And the person coming along going, but those are your times,
Yeah,
not my times.
exactly. Exactly. And
So
you cannot sell them. Yeah.
right. So that is so really becoming, and it's so funny, Jevon. I always think people are, when you have conversation with people, they're always talking about money, and they're talking about what they like and what they like to do, where they like to travel. So it's kind of I don't know, a psychotic kind of relationship with money, right? We need it to
Yes.
go and do what we need to do, but we don't want to spend the time with it that we need to make it work for us. it's like a little, like I said, it's a psychotic relationship. It's like
It
I want
is.
it to come in. I want to win the lottery, but then I don't know how to manage and keep all that money. Let's say I did win the lottery, I don't know how to manage that money, right? Because first thing I would think, obviously, before you even bought a home, is to make sure you're set up for the future,
Yeah, I would say
right?
so. Yeah.
Right, but
That's
no, you go buying cars and all that kind of stuff, and then when it comes to you done blown through all the money, and you're like, okay, I can't even go back to work, and I don't have a retirement plan. I don't have anything. I just been having fun. So it's
Mm.
really that relationship and understanding the financial piece. Then we can get to planning for your retirement, because you got to understand that you got to make the finances a priority.
You really do. And I think this goes back to why you and I started this program, is so many people get advice about money that's just flat out wrong. We just put it, it's just wrong. It's not the way that it works. You know, just the idea of having a checkbook and having someone teach you how to balance your books. We don't even do that now. We rely upon banks and to tell us things. And so many folks, I myself, I rarely even use cash. So I don't even
Yeah.
see money. And then
Mm-hmm.
the of course the solution that some people are going to say is that it's money that's actually ruining our world, because you can't do anything without it. And usually those are people who don't have money who are saying that money is ruining our society, when in actuality it's your
Right, because
relationship with money, right? It's not the money's issue, it's your relationship with it. And like you were
mm-hmm.
saying, there are millionaires, people who win these lotteries, and they're broke 2 to 3 years later. How can you win 30-40 million dollars and be broke, and then you can't go back to work because you're unemployable? Nobody
Right,
wants to have you around. You've been having fun for the last 3 years. Nobody wants to have you. But I think that's why I'm so glad that we're
and
doing
even
this.
your we're having problems, technical problems with your reception there.
Yeah, I think we may just have to change the time of day or
There
something
you
on
go. Are
this.
you there?
Yep, I'm here. You're here. We hear you. Whoops, we lost you. Oh, Crystal. Crystal? Um, let's see if we can bring you back in. No, that's not you. Okay. Well, Crystal has stepped out. Actually, we're having some technical difficulties. Oh, wait a minute. She's about to come back in. Oh, there she is. She must have called back in. So I'm going to try and bring her back.
It's me that's doing that then.
Hey, you're
Hold
back.
on, let me make a switch real quick.
Okay.
Okay,
Hey,
back.
there you
All
are.
right, maybe that was me that was
Uh-oh.
having the problem.
No way.
Yeah, it's like, wait, what's happening? I wasn't hearing you, but I think when I disconnected, I'm gonna say that was me. Yeah, not you won $30 million, and $30 million is a lot of money. And yes, you have to pay your taxes on that 30 million, but that still leaves you with half of that. That's still a lot of
Sure.
money. And
Yes.
so I always have said, if I ever, I don't do the lottery because just my personality says that's like gambling in Vegas, and especially once they did the lottery where the whole country, the Powerball, I'm thinking, why am I giving money for other states? That's crazy. So, so I'm just too rational for those kind of things, and
That's okay.
I think it's the industry I'm in. So, but I always thought, if you were going to win the lottery, I mean, if you're gonna play and buy the tickets for the lottery, okay. So, what's your end game, right? So, let me think. What would I really do if I won a $30 million or $300 million lottery pot, right? Well, first
Mm.
thing, I think I would want to sit down with my team. I would want to sit down with my retirement advisor, Jevon. I would want to sit down with my CPA, and I would want to sit down with someone that was involved in the stock market, a financial planner. And before I made a sign down, as soon as I signed and got the check and it within my bank account, and my banker to make sure that they can handle and how many banks I need, so that I would make sure I got a full on plan. All right, so Mr. Jevon, Mr. Thomas, okay, you do what you need to do for my retirement plan. Mr. CPA, you make sure all my investments are ready. Where am I going to invest? And this is what I like to do. And then Mr. Financial Planner and stock broker, this is what I want you to do. And then after all of that, then I call in my real estate person and make sure we bought us some money. We need property. We need things that's going to take that money and triple it and double it. What was that movie, Brewster's Million? Did you ever see? Oh, I know you don't. Did you see it in the movies, the Brewster Million?
I saw part of it. It's with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, so he was supposed to. They were giving you $1 million, and you couldn't make money on the $1 million. And then if he didn't make money on the $1 million, then he would get a real chunk of money after that. So, but for what we want you to do is, we want your money to make money, right?
We like that. Yes,
we want that. So that would be what I would do if I were that type of individual that purchased lottery tickets and had the ability to win and was blessed that windfall. All those people, y'all on speed dial at that point.
That's a good idea. It's always good to have a team. And often my colleagues and I have sat down with each other from different fields, and we manage people's money. And the one thing that we come away from is the person that ultimately has to make a decision, and that is the person who's the client. We have to do what's best for them. But unfortunately, unless you're all in a room together with a plan of where you want to go, everybody that's supposed to advise you is looking out for their own self-interest, right? Because that's just the nature of the way that we do things. So the person that has to make the biggest decision is the least prepared to do that. So how can we expect someone who's got $30 million to know how to manage it if they're the least of all of us when it comes to managing your money? So you're spot on. You get 30 million, I'll be waiting for the call. And we can get you a team put together that will help you manage that so that you can ride off into the sunset as you most certainly would deserve. So yes, you definitely need a team. So thanks for putting that out there.
Yes, you need a team. So everyone needs a team. Even if you got a little bit of money and you didn't happen to win the windfall of the lottery, whatever little money you have, and if you got a little bit of money, you really need to have some people working for you.
Oh yes, most definitely. Most definitely. And they got to be on point. They got to be on point.
They have to be on point. So then we can get to that place. Now we're planning. That's part of that planning for the retirement, making sure that all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed. Especially since we've been doing this show, Jevon, things pop up in my Google feed about retirement and stories that people have, and the don't be that guy story pops up regularly, and I'm like, wow, okay, this is serious stuff, because you hear people going, I plan for this.
Oh, Crystal, if you can hear me, you're coming in and out for us.
Happened. I was just talking to someone yesterday.
Oh boy, Crystal. Oh, I think this is not going to be good. Oh dear, we lost you totally there. Oh, yeah. You're back.
I'm back. I don't know what happened. I guess this is and my internet's been absolutely phenomenal. I don't know what's going on.
Well, go ahead. You were talking to someone the other day.
Yeah, I was talking, and so we were just having a conversation on the patio, so to speak. And we were in the car driving somewhere, and we were talking about the proposition. We were talking about real estate and Proposition 19, and that we didn't read the fine print because it obviously talks about that. If you're leaving generational wealth or your real estate to your family members, if they're not going to live in the house that you're leaving them, their property taxes, and if it's under $1 million, the property taxes can be reassessed, and then they'll be paying more money for taxes. And so my sister was with me, and she does property tax assessment. And so she was explaining she was explaining that, and she goes, "Wow, okay, I need to get an estate planner because she has real estate property, and based upon what the value in state of California is just outrageous. In SoCal, California, the property the value of homes are so overly inflated. If something were to happen to you tomorrow, it's good that your property is being assessed over $1 million, but if something were to happen to you and you had to leave that property to your children, they won't be able to afford that." And so she's like, "I need to sit down with an estate planner and really, really understand what this really means, and based upon the property that they have, because they've accumulated quite a bit, and of course you're leaving it for your children."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There you go. We run into that quite a bit, and we can help your sister out actually. So have her give me a call.
Okay. All righty. So just those things. Planning. Your favorite word, planning.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say: those who fail to plan to fail. Well, Crystal, I think we should close it down now here. We've gone through the article. Unless you have something else you want to say, I don't want to have a situation where one of us doesn't have our internet connection.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I think maybe I'm stronger now. I don't know what was going on, but yeah, I think so. I think we've kind of covered this topic. So for those of you out there, just understand that I know I don't understand because I like money, so I'm always looking and planning and plotting and looking at my bank accounts and my cash flows and my statements and my P&Ls. But a lot of people don't. So, and if you don't understand that, there are resources out there that can help you do that. That's one of the core competencies that I have, is to help you understand your financial statements and what they're supposed to tell you. And then, yeah, so that would be all I would be saying.
Okay, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. What we're talking about is financial wellness, and that's essentially making your money work for you and understanding how that happens and setting up that plan. And so I would say, as a retirement plan advisor, as Crystal mentioned, get yourself a team, number one. Get yourself a budget and make a plan as to where it is you want to be, where you want to go, and then let your team help you get there. Be you a employee or an entrepreneur, or whatever your station in life is, definitely have that plan. And I want to thank you all for joining our show. It should show up on Facebook, and it should show up on Crystal's Facebook as well. And we will see you next time here at Conversations on the Patio.
Yes. See you guys next time. Have a great week. Oh, wait. We won't be. Next week is it next? No.
Sunday is the 4th.
The 4th? So, oh, okay. Yes. All righty. But the 5th is the holiday, so we're not doing anything on the 5th.
Oh, right. So we won't be here on the 5th. That's right. So the next week after that.
Yeah. Okay. All righty. Okay. See you guys. Have a great week. Be safe.
Thank you. All right. Now, bye-bye.